Good evening, everyone. I'd like to bring the meeting of the planning board together on March the 15th. Everyone, please rise for the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Lynn, roll call, please.
Mr. Bruno.
Here.
Mr. Stipek.
Here.
Mrs. Flame.
Here.
Mr. Constantine.
Here.
Mr. Milady.
Here.
Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Schwade.
Here.
Mr. Ranson.
Here.
Mr. Clark is absent. Mr. Travelin.
Here.
Mr. Petch.
Here. Michael, we have a couple members that need to get sworn in. If you would, do the honors, please.
We have receipts for everybody?
Actually, I had, I don't. Yeah. I guess it's my number or? Yeah. Okay, just flip his card down. I'm so sorry. Hang on, affidavits. There you go.
Why don't you say no? Because of this is the rule. Change it. Amendments are.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I got you.
That
was your left though.
I got you.
That was your left though.
So
I was
raise your
more
right hand.
concerned with the
Oh.
teacher, the class.
They don't have one to read.
They, no, they do not. I had them and now I don't have them.
I would normally have one to read along with me, but since you don't, you're gonna have to repeat after me.
And we'll sign them later.
Yeah, let's see.
Steve.
You have one? No, you don't?
Yes, I do.
Hey, you do? Okay, good.
I'm sorry, they're in the back.
Oh, you got one?
There. See who we have. We have Steven.
She's gonna fight it, but she's gonna do it.
Steven was the only one? Heather?
Does she become, as a township clerk, does she have
You usually get sworn in.
Oh, it made you do it? Then we're gonna.
Lynn said no.
I don't think I've ever gotten sworn in a township committee for the planning board.
No, it would be
Yeah,
here.
I'm not sure. Mike?
No, it would be here, it would be done. You told me, but it's fine. We would do it here.
Okay, all right.
Here.
All right, whatever the protocol.
Oh, over there.
That's the protocol.
Oh,
It's one and twice. Okay, ready to go. I
Camera on,
Bill. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of member of the planning board of the Township of Franklin
of the office of the members of the planning board of the Township of Franklin
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will
that I will
support the
support the
Constitution of the United
Constitution of the
States.
United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
Allegiance to the same.
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States,
and in this state
And
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
and in this
In this
state,
state,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
Very good.
congratulations.
I was on your rhythm, and then you lost me.
Well, Steve was throwing us off.
Yeah.
Mumbling and stumbling.
Blame Steve.
I was a bad thing class.
Okay, this time I entertain a motion to accept the minutes that were electronically submitted for February the 15th.
I make a motion.
I got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion, I'll entertain now a motion to accept the secretary's report.
I make a motion to accept the secretary's report.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Lynn, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Secretary's report for the month of February for $200. Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
Mr. Stipek.
Yes.
Mrs. Flame.
Yes.
Mr. Constantine.
Yes.
Mr. Milady.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Schwade.
Yes.
Mr. Ranson.
Yes.
Mr. Travelin.
Yes.
Mr. Peck.
Yes. This, next on the agenda is the approval of resolution SP 22-1 for a site plan waiver. Is there a motion to accept the resolution?
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution.
I'll second.
And move and second. Lynn, again, roll call vote, please.
Okay, Kevin Constantine, oops. Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Stivic?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Constantine?
Yes.
Mr. Milady?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Schwade?
Yes.
Mr. Ranson?
Abstain.
Mr. Travlin?
Yes.
Mr. Petch?
Yes. Okay, moving on, the next is the application PB 22-02 for Rory Concrete. We're up. Michael, question. Is this application under a corporation or is it under an individual?
I'm assuming it was a corporation. I know the past resolution corporation. Mr. Fury had signed it as owner. But the reason we're asking is they're not going to have counsel if you
Council President.
corporation. I know the last two we had Mr. Baker and Mrs. Vargo representing it the other times. If you come in as a corporation, we're not allowed to proceed without counsel.
Mr. Fury had indicated to me that he's a sole proprietor.
Is the property in your name?
It's in my name, yes.
It's not in the name of the Inc. Corporation?
I believe it's in my name.
Your name?
I think it is, I'm not 100%.
And the last two resolutions that we had, I see here, that the applicant has Fury Concrete Inc. can be represented by counsel because you have to be in your corporation. If you are owning it, if you own it on your own and I see you sign it as an individual, but if you also own it.
I'm incorporated, 100% incorporated. My mom does all my work, I tell you that. I mean, I'm busy as hell. Here's the situation I have, guys, I'm trying to make it easy. I got my builder, I got my guy with the footings, and I'm trying to get the money down before the price goes up on me, and then I'm gonna be paying a lot higher bill. I mean, I'm doing the thing plain and simple. All I wanna do is put an overhang in the front of the building. It's gonna be for storage of snow plows and salt spreaders, which are very low to the ground. They're not big obstructive things sticking out. They're gonna be very low.
Mr. Flory?
Hey, Mike, one question, another question might be, so it's Fiore Concrete Inc., right?
Yes.
Does Fiore Concrete Inc. own the land, or do you own it individually?
I got it. Yep. Michael, go to the,
Right, Mike?
all right, everybody stand by. The zoning permit.
Right.
He's
It has both.
Yeah, owner.
Owner.
His name.
Michael.
I definitely own everything.
Yeah.
No, it's not a question.
No.
In order to proceed.
How you own it.
Yeah, right.
In order to proceed, if an individual, for an individual property, a house, can represent themselves. A corporation needs to be represented by council, and that's why we're going back and forth. We're trying to determine ownership. Mike, the one I'm looking at is the Township of Franklin zoning permit, and it lists the individual on that. Are you comfortable with that, or you're not sure?
Yeah, I mean, I know this gentleman's always he's been in here many times doing things the way he's supposed to do it.
All I'm going to tell you guys, I went through hell when it first started, and, I paid my price. I got nice work for the township, I upgraded the township, they did work, everything, all my property's 100% clean and well kept. I don't do anything.
That's what I'm saying. I know, we can tell by the history you always were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And really, that's not the question. I want to make sure that as we proceed through, we're doing it the right way so that it doesn't hold you up moving forward. That's why I'm trying to get an opinion here. There's a couple documents are listing you as the owner, and I think we might be able to proceed, but
If that's the case, we can do it.
all right,
But
give me those
again,
two
Mike,
documents.
I just, don't you think, I mean, it's important, I think, to make the distinction, who owns the land? Does the company own the land, or does the individual own the land? Because if the individual owns the land, I think you can proceed.
That makes it easy.
Right.
Let me have the zoning and the certification so Michael can look at it. Zoning and...
I have the
name.
Michael, I'm going to take these two documents, please.
I might have that. I'm sure I have that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to get it right.
I understand.
Everything here lists him as owner. I don't have a tax record, but everything here lists him as
Okay.
owner. I know Jim was talking about, on the tax record, who's the owner. I don't know the answer to that question. I see everything he has submitted and signed is done as an individual. In the past, it's done as a corporation, so I don't know what, maybe something changed.
I could go into real estate records, it'd probably take me 10 or 15 minutes and come back. If you want me to.
Are you comfortable, Mike?
Yeah, let's go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Mike, the reason we bring this up again, an individual on a resident can represent themselves, a corporation needs counsel. So with that said, that the documents that we're looking at currently, we're going to move forward. I bring it to your attention just in case there's complications down the road that somebody brings up, you shouldn't have done that type of thing. Based on the documents in front of us right here, we're going to proceed that you are the owner versus you're here representing the corporation type of thing. And it's a fact that if it's a corporation, an attorney needs to represent you. All right, so with that said, why don't we swear, Michael, swear him in and let's proceed.
That's not our rule, that's the state.
That's the state rule, yeah.
So we wouldn't be able to waive it. All right, if you raise your right hand, swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, go ahead.
All right.
Go proceed and explain what you're trying to attempt to do here.
What I'm doing here, I like to put a lean-to in the front of my building towards Delsey Drive. The purpose of this is to store my salt spreaders and plows, which are loaded to ground. They're only about 2 feet high. The main thing is to get them out of my way and have better time management with access of in and out of my middle bay of my building. It's kind of jammed up. I'm trying to make things easier for better time management, make things a lot easier for me, because I got to constantly move things the other way. That's the whole purpose of it. And like I said, they are no big obstructive things. They're loaded, they're only like this high, that's it. They're loaded to the ground. That's the purpose of it, for better time management and more space to work. That's it.
So, Michael, you applied for a zoning permit initially, correct?
Yes.
And you had some issues with the zoning permit. Is this the time for our zoning officer to speak?
So he was denied the addition because it obviously has to come back to the planning board for either a waiver or a minor site plan. This is so insignificant, he's just expanding the concrete pad and the awning out in the front. He's going to move the shrubbery that's already existing there, he's going to move that out a little bit where he actually bumps the concrete pad out, and that's where he wants to do his little storage area.
So, Rosemary, you've been on the site and you've done a site inspection?
Yes, I
And you
have.
know exactly what he's building?
Yes, I do.
A roof with some posts?
Yes, very
Okay,
insignificant.
no walls?
No.
I understand.
Yes.
Based on your observation, do you wish to make a recommendation to this board for us to approve a site plan waiver, or do you wish to remain silent?
I believe that it warrants a site plan waiver.
Okay.
I recommend that.
Will you be moving the shrubs so there'll still be a buffer between the equipment and the roadway, so you're going to keep shrubs until they move out, so there'll still be a landscaping buffer?
Yes, if you guys want me to do that landscape, see, here's the thing, I gotta take the landscaping down to put it on.
Right.
It's just gonna be a window. If you want landscaping in front of it, basically, it's the same exact thing you see there,
Right.
it's just push that a little
You're moving
further.
the fence out as well?
Yes, yes, it's the same exact thing, nothing different than what you see there. All I'm doing is coming out a little further right there, and it's just nothing different. It's a lean-to, it has the fence on the outside, it'll have low landscaping. If that's what you guys want me to do, I'll do that to cover the 2-foot plows over there.
Especially if you want to have
Yes.
a buffer.
I would just try to replicate what you have there.
I have a question regarding the original site plan approval, SP04-4 on October 19th of 2004. There was a condition to that approval, condition number 2, that states there shall be no storage of materials outside of the building in either of the 2 front yard areas of Delsey Drive and Marshall Mill Road, including overhangs of the building. And this proposal clearly contradicts that, so how do we reconcile a contradicting condition?
There would have to be a modification, this would have to encompass a modification of that condition as well.
All right.
But
That's the application that's coming back now.
By necessity, it would have to be correct.
okay, but it says materials, so this is equipment.
I don't know if that's it.
That's
Probably.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different, but, I think it probably I mean, if you want to continue, we should clarify if you grant this, and there's a reservation, if you want to clarify, you don't want materials out there, maybe you don't want, in case you ever sold the business and somebody wasn't keeping it as nice, and they start stacking
Right.
stuff.
One thing I'm 100% is, it's loaded to ground storage. I got the space to manage it. Notice it's nothing. You're not going to see a big swap thing in the front of my yard, no matter what. And you guys should know, I've been here for a lot of years. I know Joe definitely knows me. And I've been around for a lot of years. Everything I do is I upgrade. I keep everything perfectly clean and neat. I don't do nothing to slop up. You look at my house, you look at my building, look at my trucks, 100% clean, perfect, everything. I don't do anything to downgrade the township. And I upgrade it by doing nice work for you guys out here. I have a real good name. I got 5 stars on Angie's List, Facebook, Google. No matter where you look, I got 5 stars. And I do all good work for you out here. Just trying to, make it easy for them.
We can clarify that we're not.
Chairman,
Yes.
so I just wanted to make the comment that this will not encroach into the front yard, so it's not actually in the front yard. The front yard, its setback is way back.
Way far enough back,
Yes.
it's still a side yard.
Right, and the storage of materials and equipment and so forth, that would not be affected, the front yard would not be affected whatsoever. You would not even see it. I do recommend that he puts the shrubbery back up, because it looks nice like that. You know,
Yeah,
the board would encourage
you're right on the drive, so,
Yeah.
you're basically maintaining what's already existing.
Yes.
Okay, is there any other questions? John?
No, I don't have any questions. Joe, this is not open to the public, is it?
No.
No, okay.
Right.
We'll just indicate in the resolution that we're not eliminating that condition, so it'll still
Right,
be there.
yeah, on the storage, I'm going to go there, yeah. Mike, this is not, it's a site plan waiver, so it's not a public portion.
There was no notice, I mean, you're welcome to,
No,
everybody here, but you're welcome to do it if you want.
Yeah, I'm not going through all that again. If Bill had something to say, he'd speak up.
I think they have to clean that up though, because if you put a store equipment
Right.
there, that has to be cleaned up a little bit.
Okay. What's your pleasure? And with that said, the resolution that John referred to about other palletized storage of material versus equipment, the testimony today is that the applicant wants to store his equipment out there, and we take note of that number 2 of the original application, that there would be no storage in the front of the building. Is there someone who'd like to make a motion here?
Can I make a comment before
Sure,
we go
sure.
to that? I would like to follow the recommendation of the engineer. She made a comment about grading plan review, and I'll read it verbatim. The applicant should submit a grading plan for the township engineers to confirm the grading will not be affected. The area of construction is along the frontage of the existing building, and there appears to be enough space between the proposal and Route 47, but the home adjacent to the property is residential, and we must make sure that the grading will not be affected. I recommend that a condition of the approval be the grading plan review. And I'd just like to reiterate that, just to make sure that we're not sending excess stormwater onto the neighboring residential property. Just a grading plan, so it's really not much considering how much impermeable surface is on that lot. There's a substantial amount. There's no stormwater infrastructure on the site. It doesn't appear to be. And it's really not a lot of impermeable cover that's being added. It's less than 1,000 feet, but I think a grading plan review is necessary in this situation.
All right, John. With that said, are you making a motion that would include, are you putting that in a form of a motion to approve the site plan waiver that would include the grading plan, and in addition to that, the buffers that were already stated, the permits are already a natural part of the application anyway, so.
I make the aforementioned motion.
All right, is there a second to, for approving the site plan waiver? Yes, I have a second. Roll call vote, please, Lynn.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Stipick?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Constantine?
Yes.
Mr. Milady?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Schwade?
Yes.
Mr. Ransom?
Yes.
Mr. Travelo?
Yes.
Mr. Pett?
Yes. Michael, if you, congratulations, and I realize you're trying to start construction. Michael, could you please explain the process of the approving resolution, and if the individual starts doing some work out there, his exposure?
Yeah.
He can do it, but he has exposure.
Yeah, I mean, your risk runs that if they approve you tonight, they'll adopt the written resolution next meeting, then that resolution gets published. So anybody who wants to appeal this, they have 45 days from when that resolution is published to do that.
Okay, so I can't start until 45 days?
At your risk.
If you start before that and somebody were to appeal this, you would be in a position where...
Do you need people on the outskirts of my building?
Yes, anybody.
If anybody came back and appealed, if any, that's what I want to get at. I know you want to start. If anybody wants to come back and appeal.
But to be honest with you, here's my situation. I mean, I don't care if they start to have it done by the very end of the year. My main concern is lumber, it ain't lumber, but it's steel. Lumber's crazy, you know that. Lumber's $20, $21 for a 16-foot. The steel, everything's up. The thing they're telling me is to give him the money for the down payment for the steel, so we can order the steel. Otherwise, it's going to be a different thing of money. The other thing is the guy with the footing, he's the same thing. He wants a down payment or the price. They're not going to hold the same price.
They can't hold the price.
And I'm the same way, I'll be honest with you. I've been doing concrete for 36 years. 36 years doing concrete, and I have a lot of commercial contracts, and you know what? I do good work, and I go lower on the lower side to keep what I got, you know what I'm saying? But residential stuff, it goes up, you know what I mean?
Mike, and that's why I bring it up, is that you certainly can move forward, but if somebody appealed it, you have that risk.
And that, you're talking about somebody that's on the outskirts of my building?
Well, actually, anybody, but, until that resolution is passed at the next meeting. There was an application at the last meeting. We approved that resolution at this meeting a month later. So your resolution will come up next month that solidifies the approval, right? Who knows what the change.
Well, you're not talking about, you guys are all for me. You said all good, right?
We're not appealing our own decision.
We're not going to.
That's what I'm saying. You're not on the outside.
So that would be very unusual for that to happen.
Let me ask you this. What's the percentage of something like that happening?
I never saw it happen all the years I've been here, but at the same time, it can happen, and that's why I bring it up to protect you.
So Joe, it's 45 days from next month or 45 days from tonight?
When it's published, so you're probably
I mean, if
talking
you guys
about
are
30 days.
pretty much 100%, I'll
publish it,
just move
and then
forward.
45 from there.
Okay, so then you need, so let them, so then understand the timing, then, so it's 75 to 80 days from today.
But not only would they have to appeal it, but they'd have to win the appeal.
I don't want them to kill me with the numbers, that's all. I just want to give them their down payments. That's all I want to do. You know what I mean?
I bring it up to protect you, Mike.
So that probably doesn't even know.
It's what it is. The resolution, I see, obviously, everyone was in favor, so I don't see that to be a problem.
You guys advising me to move forward?
Pardon me?
Your advice to me to move forward so I don't lose money? All right, I see that. That's all I want. Thanks for working with me, guys.
All right, well, congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, moving on, correspondence, please.
I'm sorry. So, the next one we have is the ordinance amending chapter 253 land management from Barbara Regional Township Clerk for planning board comment and review.
All right, Lynn, I'm sorry, I skipped over one here. That's it for correspondence?
No, that was the ordinance.
Oh, okay, all right.
Sorry, I was trying to go in order.
Yeah, I skipped over it.
That's okay. However you want to do that.
253.
Oh, I didn't take out the line.
Michael or Rosemary, is there any comments on the chapter 253 ordinance on land management?
This is the grading plan for residential. I think basically.
Yeah, so this ordinance is actually just cleaning up some of the stormwater management ordinance and allowing the engineer to have clear language in the code that says that we have this grading plan review, that it's required for new homes, that you have to submit this, that it's X amount of dollars to have the review done. That information is in the code, but it's vague, so we're clearing it up so it's there. Because we had a couple people question when I said they needed a grading plan review for a brand new home, they questioned, well, where is it in the code? And because it's like a little vague, the engineer and I worked together on it to make sure it was very clear so people get the proper grading plan review when they need it. And as you can see tonight, it was a good idea to have that done.
In place.
So Rosemary, is this also warranted for a minor subdivision?
So anytime that you create duplicate, dual lots or increase the density of a lot, yes, it'll be required.
On a minor as well as a
Yes.
major?
Yes.
Now, is there an acreage limit on it?
So I believe
Like-
if there are a certain amount of acres, that it'll be at the discretion of myself and with the consent of the engineer. You know, we'll work together on that.
Yeah. All right,
Is
have
this
they come up-
something? I'm sorry, I yield.
No, I'm big. But have they come up with an acreage? Like, I've always been under the impression that if it's a full acre of ground, that you should be able, as a builder, a competent builder, you should be able to get that water to run off of there and not running onto anybody else's property.
Right. And unfortunately, that doesn't always happen, because if you get a guy who's out there and he does site work and he doesn't do it well, and you already have a water problem, they increase the water problem, and it pitches maybe to the street, that water will always pitch to the street. So, you know, it's tricky. You know, the acreage isn't really the issue as much some of the times, as much as, well, where the natural flow of the water goes. So if the flow of the water is already going to the street, we certainly don't want to increase it by having a bad contractor out there, so to speak. So we would say, like, you know, 3-4 acres, that's probably enough land that's not going to affect anything if they're meeting all the setbacks. But, you know, we still want to make sure that we have it in there, that we can review it if we think there's a problem.
Really, the language seems to apply to almost anything. I mean, it says construction, reconstruction, relocation, enlargement, resulting in land disturbance of 500 square feet. So it's really almost anything triggers it.
Right.
It's small.
But we're only focusing really on single-family dwellings at the present.
This would be an escrow fee in addition to the building permit or whatever? And
It's an escrow fee, and anything that's left in the escrow goes back to the applicant. And it's very small administrative application fee.
Okay, so there is something in place that if you determine the parcel's large enough or the addition's small enough, that you could actually waive this to the applicant?
That's correct.
Okay.
The language in there, Ralph, is that the engineer shall have the authority to waive the within requirements, provided in his opinion it will not have an adverse effect on adjacent lots. So there is a discretionary factor in there.
So our task this evening is for the township committee who's tasking us to make a comment to them, correct?
That's
The
correct.
statute that requires a review. by
Has this
the
gone in front of the environmental commission yet? And have you received their comments?
No, I haven't, but you know, it's a good idea. I will make sure that you have a copy of it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can say as the liaison for the Environmental Commission, we would like some time to review this. We haven't had a chance to review this. One question I have is, when an applicant comes in front of the planning board with a stormwater regulation plan, would that be reviewed? That would be the jurisdiction of the planning board to review that, right? Not
That's
the
correct.
engineer.
That's correct.
So this would only be for a site plan that is not reviewed by the planning board?
So depending if the planning board was reviewing a major subdivision or a minor subdivision, the individual lots prior to building on it would still have a grading review, just to make sure that it mirrored exactly what the planning board had approved.
Okay.
And I'll make sure you get that. I'm sorry that you didn't get that.
Okay, back to the planning board. Is there any other comments? Is there anything in here that concerns anyone? Hearing none, at this time I'll entertain to move it forward to the township committee, that we reviewed it and find no objections. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I got a motion, is there a second?
Second,
A roll call vote, please.
0622.
Mr. Bruno?
I'll abstain.
Mr. Stipick?
Yes.
Mrs. Flame?
Yes.
Mr. Constantine?
Yes.
Mr. Malady?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Schwade?
Yes.
Mr. Ranson?
Abstain.
So just, Joe, so we have 35 days to respond to the referral of this ordinance. So just so we realize that the environmental committee is going to come in after your recommendations. So you're not conditioning it upon what they have to say. It's a second.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not requesting that either,
Okay.
just to be clear.
I would love to see a size limit put on it, because I think that somebody coming in front of us with 5-6 acre lot, even maybe a 3 acre lot, to spend the money for a grading plan is, in my opinion, a waste of time. But I also feel that 6 months or a year from now, you're saying, yeah, it's up to, it's my review, it's the engineer's review. 6 months, a year from now, there's not gonna be a review. It's gonna be, hey, this person's got this size lot. You know, we've recommended all of them so far, and we're gonna, you know, people move on, things are forgotten, people get greedy. I don't see, I just see that people, you know, right now, especially with everything going up in the world, you know, do we need another fee?
Other townships have 2 acres. After 2 acres, you know, they don't require it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
since
I
the
would
lot's
love,
large
to me,
enough.
I would love to,
Oh, yeah.
if the
Fix
township
that.
might entertain something like that, that way, at least we're not charging people when it is not warranted.
That's right. We wouldn't do that.
All right, and you want to continue with that
Yes,
roll call,
continue
please?
with roll call. Mr. Travelin?
Yes.
Mr. Petch?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have to abstain then.
Yes, I've got you abstaining, and Mr. Bruno and Mr. Ransom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the recommendation is not going to, that was just a comment by,
That was a comment there, because we were in the middle of a roll call vote. You know, obviously, John has opportunity to talk to the township committee, you know, on the individual matter that concerns him, but at this time, we're just dealing with the planning board review.
Who made the motion?
I did.
It was,
Mr. Kelly could
Mr.
rescind
Kelly?
his motion if John Malady wants to add language to the ordinance based on our board. Is that where
I
you want to
don't know,
go?
that would be up to Jim. I wouldn't want to ask Jim to do that. I mean, most of the people on the board were for that. I just didn't want it to become a kind of a rubber stamp where people were coming, especially,
A
like,
money
we have a
grab.
lot of
I
lots.
don't want it to be a money grab.
Yeah, we have a lot of
Especially you don't
lots
need
in
it
this
on a
township
2
that are 5 acres, 6 acres, larger properties, and, you know, if it,
I mean, I agree with you, but we also have a lot of 5 acre properties that aren't graded right, that are dumping water into the neighbor's property.
Yeah, I
So,
don't
I
want
mean,
to,
it kind of cuts
Yeah.
both ways.
yeah, I don't want to rescind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a case-by-case basis.
It's $1,000, the fee. If they use it, they use it. If they don't, they don't. But guess what? At least we'll know that it was graded the proper way, and we'll move on. That's my opinion.
And like I say, John, anyone has the opportunity to talk to the township committee moving forward if they have a concern. This time I'll entertain a motion to open the public portion.
Make that motion.
I got a motion,
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're open to the public.
Motion to close public.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Lynn, item number 9, trading session.
we have Heather, Jim Kelly, and Kevin, or not, I'm sorry, not Kevin, it's
Kyle.
Stephen Ransom that needs to be trained.
did we adopt
What
the
do I need
resolution
training
for the
for?
comprehensive municipal farmland?
I thought we adopted that at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, do I thought we came up with it after, okay.
This was the letter that finalized everything, right? Yes.
So did we adopted that resolution already, Ralph? One you had
I
sent-
believe we did.
You sent a resolution,
You talking about the planning board for the,
Training.
I'm talking about the farmland preservation plan.
we agreed to the resolution as the planning board, and it was sent up to the, and was forwarded to the
Oh,
township
okay.
committee.
Okay.
We're complete, and it was sent up to the state, and the state will actually vote on it at their May meeting.
Okay.
So it's not a done deal until the state approves it.
Make sure we don't do something. Right. Well, if you want to, I mean, those three people could stay, instead of everybody staying, we could spend 10 minutes doing that.
Stay up in place.
Detention. Homework.
All right, Lynn, do you have anything else?
No, that was it. Everything else was FYI
Okay.
on the correspondence.
Rosemary, any comments, anything to discuss?
No.
No, you're good? Michael? We're good? All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and the kids that have to stay after class can stay after class.